Dear student, welcome to first unit of Module 1 of Cleantech's Circular Economy course. My name is Andrej Dimšar, and I come from University of Ljubljana, Faculty of Natural Sciences and Engineering, Department of Textiles, Graphic Arts and Design. I work at the Faculty of Natural Sciences and Engineering as full professor and researcher in the fields of textile raw materials, textile testing, production planning and management, and quality management. This unit is going to be a kind of introductory unit to circular economy topic, in which I would like to address and discuss with you the causes and the context of current environmental challenge which we as humanity face right now. So let's start with presentation, and I'm going to share slides with you. The aim of the unit is to point out the reasons for the current sustainable crisis and to suggest possible solutions. In this unit, we are going to discuss the context and causes of current environmental crisis which we as humanity face. The unit composes 4 chapters. In the first chapter, we are going to discuss past and current world trends which led us to current environmental crisis. In the second chapter, we are going to define groups of people which we can call stakeholders who have the power to make a change in the field of environmental crisis. In the third chapter, we are going to enlighten the education as the strongest tool which we can use to make a change and with which we can educate engineers of the future. In the fourth chapter, we will draw some conclusions. So in the first chapter, we are going to discuss what are past and current world trends which led us to current environmental crisis. We will list some facts on the basis of which, I believe, we will see the situation more clearly. To find a solution for the problem, we need to define the cause of the problem. And on the basis of the discovered cause, we can think of possible solutions. Let's list some facts on the basis of which we will see the situation more clearly. Welcome to planet Earth, the third planet from a star named Sun. Earth, 4.5 billion years old, is shaped like a sphere and composed mostly of rock. Over 70% of the Earth's surface is water. The planet has a relatively thin atmosphere composed mostly of nitrogen and oxygen. Earth is called also the blue marble, or as Carl Sagan named it, pale blue dot. With its abundance of liquid water, Earth supports a large variety of life forms, including potentially intelligent species such as dolphins and humans. It is the only place in our universe with life on it that we know so far. What makes the Earth habitable? It is at the right distance from the sun, it has liquid water, it is protected from harmful solar radiation by its magnetic field, and it has the right chemical ingredients for life that we know, including water and carbon. The photograph on the right is the photo of the Earth taken from the Apollo 8 spacecraft in 1968. As the astronauts came back from the mission of discovering the moon, they said that they, in fact, discovered Earth, since this was the first time that we, as humanity, saw the Earth how it really looks. Carl Sagan, astrophysicist, who was the first to promote and popularize astronomy among people, especially among young people. And he gave name to Earth a pale blue dot, while looking at the photo, which you can see on the lower right of the slide. As he was looking at this mote of dust suspended in the sunbeam, he wrote also that that's home, that's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being, whoever was, lived out their lives. It is the only home we have. So we have to cherish this planet, and we have to take care of it so that it will be the home also for the generations to come. Earth is not our property. We are just renting it. So we should take care of it for the life forms which will populate this planet also in the future. But still, we do not care of the Earth as we should. We are exploiting the Earth's natural resources as they were endless. Unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately, resources are limited. The measure of our overuse of natural resources is so-called Earth Overshot Day, or sometimes called also Day of Ecological Debt. This is the day on which humanity uses all natural resources available in 1 year. It is the day when we, humanity, enter into ecological debt to future generations. The Earth Overshot Day in 2021 was July 29th. So we used all the resources available in 1 year in little more than half of year. But if we look at the Earth Overshot Day for the countries like France, Greece, Italy, Lithuania, Slovenia, Spain, we can see that we succeeded in using the resources even before. And this fact should make us think about the future. One of many examples of how humanity is changing the geography of Earth is Aral Sea. Once the fourth largest lake on Earth, the Aral Sea has shrunk dramatically over the past few decades as the primary rivers that fed the sea have been diverted and tapped nearly dry for cotton and other agricultural farming. So what we see on the photo on the right is a result of human unbridled exploitation of the environment. The area of Sir Darya and Amu Darya, the rivers which flow into the lake, is covered by cotton fields, which need a lot of water to grow. Another fact. Recently, scientists published results of a research in which they proved that according to the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and in the oceans, the sixth mass extinction of the animal species will occur soon. Well, according to some recent data, this sixth mass extinction, some scientists believe that already began. In the last 540 million years, already 5 mass extinctions linked to amount of carbon dioxide have occurred on Earth so far. But this sixth mass extinction is a consequence of human activity. Well, the fact is that Earth as one of the planets in our solar system, will survive. But humanity, with such a way of life, will not. What are the reasons for current situation? To find the right solution for the problem, we need to find and define the cause of the problem. So let's think about possible causes. We are thinking of the reasons for the environmental crisis, which is in fact a part of a sustainability crisis. Actions of our civilization address all aspects of sustainability. So let's see what sustainability is. Sustainability refers generally to the capacity of the Earth's biosphere and human civilization to coexist. Three different dimensions of sustainability are distinguished: environmental, social, and economic. I strongly believe that we as humanity face sustainability crisis in all three dimensions. Well, in this unit, we are going to address one of those dimensions, and we will focus on environmental part of the sustainability crisis. Reasons for the environmental and sustainability crisis are proposed as follows: world economic system, overproduction and consumerism, which altogether pose the wrong set of basic values, such as constant growth, profit, money, etc. Let us look closer to the proposed reasons for the environmental crisis. World economic system. I believe that the reason for the crisis lies in the economy which is driven mostly by human greed. Capitalist culture promotes the accumulation of capital and the sale of commodities, where individuals are primarily defined by their relationship to businesses and the market. Because of the current economic system, the basic and most important values are not seen anymore. According to Rosa Luxemburg, the capitalism will, as a result of its own contradictions, become simply impossible. According to Noam Chomsky, a basic principle of modern state capitalism is that costs and risks are socialized to the extent possible, while profit is privatized. World economic system or systems are in hands of global elites, which tend to keep the power and wealth in their hands. The most important value of these elites is money, and the person is just a number, one of many workers, and equally important, many consumers. And we do not ask ourselves important questions. What is really important for the environment? What is really important for the society? And what is really important for me? Overproduction is a consequence of the current economic system. The mindset: produce, sell, get profit. Produce more, sell more, get more profit. And profit is the most important value. Capitalism produces not to meet human needs first and foremost, but to make profit. Consumerism is a consequence of overproduction. We buy to satisfy our endless needs. We buy without asking important questions. How and where have the raw materials been grown, produced? How and where have the goods been produced? How many kilometers has the product traveled? Why is the price of the product so low? What will happen to the product when I stop using it? Values. Today, the basic set of values of individuals is distorted. Distorted by the economic system, which intention is to make majority to follow the few. One source of the problem is the measure of development of countries. GDP, gross domestic product, in which constant growth is the main factor. Consequently, the basic and really important values are not seen anymore. We are aware of really important basic values only when we have certain issues with health, safety, peace, etc. And what could be possible solutions? What do you think? What is your opinion? Let me just quote Albert Einstein. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. So we should change something. We should change our approach. To rephrase Albert Einstein's thoughts, we cannot solve sustainability problems which we created with technology, using just technology. Multiple transdisciplinary and holistic approaches should be developed, such as circular economy, for example, which introduces new view and new approach to the material and product flow. Could you imagine a vision? We live in a balanced world with balanced development and balanced growth for the benefit of all, and which is achieved by changing our attitude towards nature, society, and ourselves. As I mentioned, balance, I have in mind a balance between healthy environment, healthy people, healthy society, and balanced GDP. Have you heard about degrowth, perhaps? Let me just introduce the idea, which can be one of possible solutions for current environmental and sustainability situation. Degrowth is a planned reduction of energy and resource use designed to bring the economy back into balance with the living world in a way that reduces inequality and improves human well-being. How could we achieve that? I believe that we can achieve that with education. What is a measure of successful company, successful country? Today, almost every economist or politician would say high GDP, high economic growth. But the right answer is balance between healthy environment, healthy people, healthy society, and balanced GDP. Figure on the right shows us a difference between technological and social changes versus time, according to the author of the article. The social competencies curve has no scientific background, that it is drawn just for the sake of discussion. So we live in a fast-changing world where technology, the red curve, is changing and developing very fast. And social competencies, the green curve, the development in the field of social competencies is not so fast. And I believe that this is the cause of unbalanced world. So the possible solution is that the course of these two curves would be the same. And if the course of these two curves would be the same, then we would live in a balanced world. It's also interesting to quote Albert Einstein when he said, "It has become appealingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity." And we can see his quote in this graph on the right. As we change our values, we can also change our habits as consumers, as workers, or as somebody who is working in economy, or even being a politician. EU Green Deal and circular economy are possible solutions. As we use the thinking out of the box approach, creativity, holism, courage, and ethics, we are on a good way to change our current approach and to find more possible solutions for the situation in which we are at the moment. We are faced with very important challenges concerning the sustainability of our planet. We live in a time of changes. We live in a time when we should change our approaches. Of course, important step forward is Green Deal, and in the frame of it, circular economy. This is the first bigger step in changing of our attitude towards nature. And in the frame of Green Deal, economy will get a lot of support for adapting to circular economy. And there are a lot, and it will be even more initiatives in the field of circular economy. But scientists and eco movements think that Green Deal is not enough. We have to do much more regarding our attitude towards nature. For example, what if we promote lower consumption, local production, homogeneous textile products production, products with longer life, fair trade, no child work, 40 hours or less working week, etc. And who are the stakeholders in this equation, in this sustainability crisis? What do you think? As I mentioned, stakeholders, Stakeholder in this case is a group of people who can make a change. I distinguish three groups of stakeholders who can make a change in current sustainability crisis: consumer, economy, politics, or legislators. So let's have a look at those three groups of consumers, of stakeholders. Consumer. What is a power of consumer? Consumer has a power to buy or not to buy certain item or service. The economy depends on consumers' consumption. With buying sustainable goods, we have, as consumers, the influence on sustainable production. But the power of consumers is weakened by marketing and propaganda of producers of goods and by weak sustainable legislation. I strongly believe that if there would be a lot of aware and responsible consumers, the consumer would have a great power. Unfortunately, at the moment, there are not enough aware and responsible consumers. For aware and responsible consumers, we need to educate people. They should have knowledge about the situation, and they should have also empathy. And economy. What is the power of economy? The economy produces goods and has power to decide to produce sustainable goods. But economy depends on demand, on consumption. It depends on legislation and owners' wishes. Currently, the economy is still forced to produce cheap, non-sustainable products. Since consumers are mostly buying cheap products, legislators are not changing legislation in the favor of sustainability, and owners seek high profits. But there are good examples of economy or companies which already change their basic values. For example, company Patagonia. This is a company which shows the power of economy. It's an aware and responsible company. And we can see that also from Patagonia mission, where they say that we are in business to save our home planet. And let us look at Patagonia's core values, where they say, let's build the best product. Function, repairability, durability. Among the most direct ways we can limit ecological impacts is with goods that last for generations or can be recycled so the materials in them remain in use, cause no unnecessary harm. We work steadily to change our business practices and share what we've learned. We seek not only to do less harm, but to do more good. Use business to protect nature. We embrace risk and act to protect and restore the stability, integrity, and beauty of the web of life. Not bound by convention. Our success and much of the fun lies in developing new ways to do things. Patagonia is showing us that it is possible. And the third group of stakeholders are politicians. What is the power of politics? I believe that politicians or legislators have the biggest, greatest power among all these three groups of stakeholders. They have the power to change our current non-sustainable trend. They are empowered to prepare and accept rules, laws, and legislation which is in accordance with sustainable progress. The problem of politicians is that they are just a tool in the hands of financial lobbies, and that they are not courageous enough to make a change. The proof for that is the last Environmental Summit 2021 in Glasgow, where politicians failed again to make significant breakthrough. But I'm sure and I'm convinced that with aware and responsible leaders, politicians, legislators, we could make a big change in our attitude towards our environment. So not just words, but actions matter. For example, UN sustainability goals are one approach where politicians showed us what it is important. Green Deal, circular economy, for example, are first bigger steps in changing our attitude towards our environment. As I already mentioned, scientists and eco-movements think that Green Deal is not enough. We have to do much more regarding our attitude towards nature. So who has the power to make a change? Among those three groups of stakeholders, I believe that today, at this moment, politicians have the greatest power and the greatest responsibility. But in fact, we have a power. You have a power. You will play different roles in your life. You will be, or you are consumer. You will be a part of economy, and in some cases, you will have also power on decision-making regarding legislation. In all different roles that you will play, you have to act responsibly and sustainably. And for responsible and aware consumer, citizens, politicians, we need education, knowledge to gain awareness, responsibility, and courage to make a difference. And education, I believe, is the strongest tool to change the future. And this change will be done by engineers of the future. Education is the strongest tool to make a long-term and long-lasting change. Modern education will enable us to develop competencies for the future, which from one discipline view to switch from one discipline view to transdisciplinary view, switch from narrow to holistic view, and to develop a new value system. Yes, as again, Albert Einstein said, the aim of education must be the training of independently acting and thinking individuals who, however, see in the service to the community their highest life goal. I wish you that you will become independently acting and thinking individual who will be in service to the community, and that you will see in this service your highest life goal. Highly evolved and developed world needs focus on highly emotionally and socially developed human beings with high awareness who can build better world using sustainable and holistic approach. As I mentioned, education is the strongest tool to do that, and we should use it. And I mentioned engineers of the future. With this, I mean you are engineer of the future. And I see engineers of the future as specialists in their field, and that they are open to all other fields. They have a transdisciplinary view. They act holistically and on a long-term basis. The work with colleagues from different disciplines is a must for them. They combine natural sciences, technology, social sciences, art, etc. They share the knowledge, since knowledge belongs to all. They believe in equality in all fields. To conclude, your role in creating a sustainable world is extremely important. Circular economy is a very important step forward towards a sustainable future. Be courageous and search for the solutions also outside of the established practices. Search for the solution with experts from other disciplines. Think and act transdisciplinary. Be aware of all possibilities. Act holistically. Dear student, I hope you enjoyed the lecture, and I wish you a lot of success on the topic we just discussed. I wish you all the best in your future professional life, and I hope that you will use important messages which you will get in this CleanTech's Circular Economy MOOC course. Wish you all the best.